Masters table. Masters table.
Master elements.
Masters table. Masters table.
Racism, white supremacy is a dynamic system for the ultimate purpose of white genetic survival on the planet. White supremacy.
You are in an evil system, a system that is designed deliberately to produce evil thoughts, to produce animosity, to produce violence.
Introduction to African civilizations and man-garden civilization.
Masters table. Masters table.
Master elements.
Masters table. Masters table.
Master elements.
We dedicate lives to the study of history.
They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're going to take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation.
The right way is clearly distinct from error.
Racism is a competitive relationship between groups of people who are competing for the ownership and control of resources, wealth, and power.
Masters table.
I am a critical thinker, here to bless you with lyrical tinctures. I am the black dot, the point of reference, the metaphysical link to the Moors, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Incas. I am here to remove the blind spots and clear the view of your spiritual blinker. I am something out of nothing. I am the alchemical bringer of change. My name will continue to linger. I am legend. If consciousness was a game, I would be considered a ringer. I am because we are.
Most resilient, we poster children of prophecy fulfillment. We gotta be God's children.
All right, we are here. I think I got it together.
My time.
I feel like no matter how much preparation I do, when it's almost time to go live, I always feel rushed, like something is not right or something. And especially since I'm in a different room today, it just throws everything off. But we here.
We here. We back.
Yeah, we are definitely here. So welcome, family. Welcome to another episode of Sincere Love the Godcast. And today we have a special edition of the Black Business Showcase. So of course we're going to be joined by another dynamic guest that we're going to introduce in just 1 second. But before we do that, I need everybody, as you're coming up in here, to please hit that like button. B1, Just Eve in the building, Shane Foster in the building. Hit that like button, family. Share this out on your social media platforms and let everybody know that we are live right now. If you are not subscribed to us on YouTube, make sure you go to the GodCast Enterprises channel on YouTube and hit that subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, so you can be reminded whenever we go live with new episodes of Sincere Love the Godcast. You guys might be tuning in from Sincere Love the God on YouTube. That's perfectly fine. Some of y'all might be watching us on Instagram. Shout out to StreamYard with the new Instagram live feature. So we are live on Instagram today as well. And so if you guys are watching us on Instagram, salute, salute, salute. Leave us some comments in the chat. Let us know that you're tuning in from Instagram as well. The only thing about Instagram right now is it's limited to 1 hour. So I think after the first hour, it's going to cut off on Instagram. So you're definitely going to want to head over to YouTube and go to the GodCast Enterprises channel. Make sure you're subscribed over there, and you could be able to tune in for the entire broadcast. But what's going on, Nyctee?
It's nothing.
Nothing. Sorry, I was a little distracted trying to get everything adjusted. Everything is good. I went to the Hidden History Museum last night, y'all. Had a good time out there. Had a chance to chop it up with our brother Dewan for a little bit. Yeah, it was good. The food was amazing. Let me tell y'all though, the food was so good, and I ate so much that I could not stay to the end. The itis kicked in so heavy on me last night. Like I got major itis last night after eating. I kid you not. Like it's never
Who was
done
catering
that.
it?
Huh?
Who was catering it?
I forgot. But it was good. It was dang good. And my butt was throwing it back so fast, I think. And I sat there and of course I always go solo, but I'll meet people while I'm there. So I'm just, chopping it up with people, having a good time. We laughing and everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm like super sleepy. I don't think I'm gonna be able to hang. And they're like, what? So I tried to thug it out for as long as I could, but I just could not, and literally came back home and fell out. Like major itis. Major itis, but it was fun. And I also bought 2 of the Hidden Heroes books, and I plan on giving away one for say maybe the Godcast will put up some type of, I don't know, contest or something like that. So we here at the Godcast are going to give away one of these books away for say. So I just wanted to throw that out there. We'll kind of come up with something this week or so, and we'll throw it out there on our Instagram stories and pages and stuff like that. So we will be giving away, the Godcast will be giving away one of these for say this year.
Dope. And speaking of children's book, as you guys know, we have our children's book, 7 The Super Hay Rule. Volume 1, 7's Big Move, is available. A couple of y'all hit me up and let me know that our site wasn't active the way they're supposed to be. The links on our site wasn't active the way they're supposed to be. So we're actually in real time getting that together right now. So if you've been on the site trying to order the book, we apologize. It should be ready. If it's not ready now, it should be ready by sometime during this broadcast. It should be ready. You guys can go to godcastbooks.com. Let me get my banners over here. You guys can go to godcastbooks.com. That's where you can order 7's Big Move, and you should be able to pre-order. We're going to get the pre-order link for y'all to be able to order volume 2 and the activity book as well. So you guys bear with us while we get our site together and everything like that. Shout out to Crown 808. She's handling business in the back office. You know what I mean? So we are definitely getting that together for y'all. So that's godcastbooks.com, where you can support us on our children's book series. And stay tuned for everything that we got coming as far as that. But Nyctee, since we're doing the LA thing today, let them know who we got. Let them know who the guest is.
So I know that everybody
supposed to be, and now who is going to be,
Right. So I know that our flyer has Geneva Solomon, but my sister is feeling under the weather. So we have her other half, her better half, her husband, Jonathan Solomon, that's going to be joining us on her behalf today on the Black Business Showcase, which this is a special edition. You guys know that we usually do these on Wednesdays. The Black Business Showcase is usually on Wednesdays. And on Sundays, we typically do, current events. But this is a special broadcast for of the Black Business Showcase. So I'm just honored at this point, to have, one half of Jonathan and Geneva Redstone Firearms out here in Burbank, California, Los Angeles, California. So yeah, without further ado, let's bring our brother, our 2A advocate, my personal trainer, you guys, Jonathan Solomon, on to the Black Business Showcase.
Yes, indeed. And by the way, before I bring them on, just let y'all know, Crown 808 has confirmed godcastbooks.com is live and ready to go. So you guys can order your books there. Go check us out. But without further ado, let me bring our brother to the stage, Jonathan Solomon from Redstone Firearms. Welcome to the Godcast, brother.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing great, man.
Thank you.
Thank
you for jumping in, for wifey. I know that she's not feeling good. Sending my love to you, Geneva. I hope you feel better soon.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. And she's still holding it down in the chat. How about that?
Yeah, she's still holding it down in the chat. That's right. Look,
Get
teamwork makes the
well, get
dream
well,
work.
beloved. Get well, get well. Plenty of fluids. Get your your ginger tea on, your lemon. What's my stuff? The elderberry extract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knock that thing out.
Trust me, she just had a medicine ball from Starbucks not too long ago, so we're working on it.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I appreciate you, brother, taking the time to be here with us to hold things down for the wife. So I guess we're gonna do it how we normally do it then, man. Give us the origin story of Redstone Firearms, man. How did this come about? Bring us all the way back.
So, excuse me. Redstone Firearms basically became what it is now out of our home. We were a home-based FFL, which is a federal firearms licensed dealer for guns. And we kind of grew to doing education here at the community center where we are. We started doing that at different locations for our folks. Down there in Leimert Park, we used to do it at the Hot and Cool Cafe, things like that. And then, excuse me, as things progressed, we ended up getting our first storefront, which was still in Burbank, but in a different location than where we are now. And then we started doing our range days and our different classes and things like that. And that's kind of where we are now. We're growing to the point where we're offering different classes. We're reaching out and doing the political stuff on the back end. As you guys may know, Geneva just did the hearing in DC about 3 days ago now. So we're making these moves to try to continue to get the word out there to the community. She's a champion on all fronts when it comes to the women's aspects of the 2A world. And, for those who don't know, I do stuff on the other side of it for our folks when it comes to the training and the classes and things like that at storefront and at the range.
Dope. And so how long ago was that? How long you guys been in business?
So theoretically, we've been in business about 10 years, but that's including the home-based time where we were just doing things for family.
That counts.
Yeah,
it counts.
It counts. But we started really cranking it out about 7.5, almost 8 years ago, where we had a storefront where people come to us and see what we had to offer.
And so when I first heard about you guys, of course, Tariq Nasheed shout you guys out a lot. I think that's why I first heard about you guys. And my first thoughts was gun shop in California. I thought it was impossible with the type of laws that they got out there surrounding guns. So talk about some of the difficulties overcoming some of those obstacles.
So all the way back to the beginning of getting the licensing, people don't understand that the feds, they dig all in your butt when you start asking for licenses to sell guns and ammo and stuff like that, right? And luckily at that time, I was able to navigate that fairly easy because I was working in law enforcement at that time for the school police. So, that helped out tremendously. But as things progressed, we started running into headaches where it came to finding a building, looking for different locations and things like that, to the point where we even had to hire a white realtor to get us a lease on a building because they wouldn't rent to us. I mean, we probably looked at 20 some odd places and everything was a no until we got a white realtor to do the work for us. Then it was like, yeah, bet you can move in next Friday. It's like, wait a minute, time out, man. So those are just some of the things that we've dealt with, along with we had a couple situations during the pandemic with the current landlord where we are now.
I remember that.
Lord have mercy, that man. If you could spell racist, he would have his picture right next to the word. So we've dealt with a lot of that throughout the years. We're still dealing with it. Just we're in a better place to navigate it now, right? So we're learning how to navigate it better than we used to do to navigate that. In addition to just flat out getting the hate from folks that don't want us teaching our folks what to do with firearms. They don't want us to have them. And when we do have them, we're held to a much higher standard when we do have them available to us. So we've run into a lot of headaches We tried to expand about a year and a half ago, and we have got a building. It was 8,000 square feet. We were going to put a range in it. We put a bigger classroom for about 80 people, things like that, storefront, the whole nine. We ran into so many roadblocks to the point where it cost us quite a bit of money, and we weren't even able to get that facility open. So we're still at the same location, but we were in the process of building a bigger location for the community.
Yeah, I can attest to just being out there on the range and them folks seeing a bunch of black people out there with guns and training, and the way that Jonathan trains you guys. That's a whole nother story, but they literally line up, and where we are, you can see some people sitting at the top. They'll literally gather in huddles just watching all these Negroes, what I'm saying, out here putting in work and really training and taking it seriously. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very weird and kind of eerie feeling, for you, but then also it's like a confidence booster at the same time. Like, yeah, we here. We're not going anywhere. We have this right too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's very, very interesting when we have to see and experience when we're out there on the range. And that's just on the range. I imagine what's going on the business side, with a black business, in the firearms industry.
Yep, absolutely. For us, excuse me, there is no business loans. There is no bank loans.
Right.
We've been booted from 2 different banks because we're a firearms dealer, right? So luckily, shout out to U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank has been holding us down for the last 4 years now. But J.P. Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, even some of the smaller credit unions, they were like, oh, wait, they do a business audit of what you do for business. And they're like, no, well, your business doesn't align with our moral values, et cetera, and you got to go. So it's things that people don't even think about. Just the simple fact that we don't even have a place to bank when we're this type of business, people don't understand. But like I said, shout out to U.S. Bank. They've been holding us down. They've been real good to us for going on 4 years now. So we were finally able to find a home when it came to that.
And what kind of justifications do those banks use?
So this is a rabbit hole I have to go down when we figure this game out. They will come up with any type of moral character cause that will prevent you from being able to bank with them. Because you guys got to remember, banks are private entities, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not public entities. They're private. So they could tell you to pound sand because the sky is blue. They don't have to have a reason not to do business with you.
I'm waiting. I say so, basically.
Right. There you go.
And I definitely didn't want to skip over speed pass when you said that you guys had to actually get a white realtor to go front for you guys. And we hear this a lot with different type of businesses. I think that's important to definitely highlight because, people always talking about how, we need to stop complaining about white supremacy and pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And people try to ignore the fact that black businesses are constantly sabotaged in these ways. You know what I'm saying? And so that's something that we definitely got to keep as a focal point, to keep drilling home on, especially some of our people who don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Because white people are going to do what white people are going to do. You know what I'm saying? The West, they're going to do what they're going to do. But for our people that, want to get on code and have a difficult time understanding some of these things, those are some of the things we have to highlight, in order to galvanize the troops, so to speak.
Not just that, in business, though, you guys just heard about Navy Federal, who denied over 50% of residential loan applications to black people who made tremendously more than their white counterparts. So, racial racism is actually obviously exists.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add on to what we were just talking about when it came to what we dealt with the landlord or getting the lease, even after we got the lease, we still had to deal with stuff. He tried to evict us 2 days after we moved in when he came in and said, hey, how are you? Are you here to do the work on the place for the new owner? We're like, no,
the owner.
We are. So he was like, well, we're going to evict you because you guys haven't paid your rent. I'm like, well, time out. We paid first, last, and security deposits. How did we not pay the rent? We got the keys.
Right.
You clearly got the money from us. So it's stuff like that. Even after we got in, we still had things we had to deal with.
Wow.
Oh,
And
and my wife is chiming in, and I forgot about that. Thank you for that. We had a sign up for our business, and just randomly one day I come in, I walk by the front window, and our sign is gone, and I'm like, "What the hell happened to our sign?" So I put my stuff down. I started looking around. I went out to the dumpster. He had threw our sign in the trash.
Wow.
And told us that the insurance company told him that we can't have that sign up.
First of all, you don't throw my shit away. You come talk to me or
That
bring
part.
it to me, and have a conversation. You don't just throw my shit that I paid for in the trash. Like, who are you?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So.
And so that's very concerning. What kind of safety measures do you guys have in place to prevent any type of sabotage, whether it be from the landlords or whoever, coming to try to sabotage the business?
Well, we've got a lot because, again, when it comes to firearms, we have the ATF, which is federal, we have the state, we have the municipal, and we have the local jurisdictions that we all have to abide by, right? So we have layered security when it comes to these things because we got to appease all of these different entities, right? So we've got a lot of different security measures in place. I won't speak on them here because then that helps people defeat the security measures, but we have a lot of security measures in place because we have to appease all of these entities that license us, every year. So one of the things that I have to do every year is renew my personal license, which allows me to renew the business license. So every year I have to attest to all of these different security measures, right? So those are some of the things that we have to do every single year as a business, not necessarily being just a Black business, but a business that deals with federally regulated items.
Now, not too long ago, I remember that the store kind of got robbed or something like that.
Yes.
Did they ever catch those folks that did that, or?
So they didn't catch anyone. And I tell the story to people that ask what happened. My wife and I were running a little bit late that morning. We usually get in. This is still during the pandemic, so we usually got in pretty early because at one point our lines were a couple hours long to get in. So
my son worked there.
There you
to help
go.
out.
So we got in a little bit late, and as we were pulling in, the people that broke in were leaving out. And yeah, they got there. I'm sorry, we got there maybe 2 minutes after they finished doing what they were doing and was heading out. We saw the car leave out the front, but we didn't know what had happened at that moment. And what ended up happening is the guns that they did get, they stole a lot of ammo. One of the things, I'll side note, one of the things that we do at Redstone is we're armorers as well for movies and things like that. So what they did is they broke into one of my job boxes and they stole about 20,000 rounds of ammunition. But they didn't know that the ammunition was all blanks. So that was movie ammo that they stole.
Right.
But they did steal real guns. They got about 10 real guns. We got a call about a year ago. We were on vacation. We got a call. They found one of our guns that they stole in Minneapolis. And so you do the math on that. That went from California to however many people touched it, all the way to Minneapolis, and they still have not found any of the other weapons.
Wow.
I don't know what that was that just popped up on the screen. How did that happen? Did you see that?
I saw that too. That
I did see that. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was.
I don't know what that was. Hold on.
That might have been a Instagram thing or something. Somebody might be on the
Oh, maybe. Probably with the new Instagram feature. Okay. Hey, type in number 7 in the chat if you're tuning in from Instagram. I don't even know if I can see your guys' comments that are on Instagram, but I definitely want to acknowledge you guys if you're tuning in from Instagram. Like I said, this is the new feature from StreamYard, so we're live on YouTube as well as Instagram. But the Instagram live is going to end after an hour, so you guys got to head over to the YouTube to be able to finish watching the broadcast if you are tuning in from there. But we appreciate you, though. And I lost what I was about to say. Oh, no, I wanted to ask you. So you talked about the difficulty as far as the real estate part, the banking part. What about insurance?
Insurance is not a big deal. I will say this, and I say this with a grain of salt. Because the insurance companies don't necessarily know who you are as an individual, we haven't really ran into too many issues when it came to that, except for the cost of the insurance. California makes it extremely hard when it comes to running a business. And one of the things for the firearms world is the insurance. They have made it so difficult for insurance companies to operate in California when it comes to firearms that there's only 2 insurance companies that will operate in the state of California that will insure us on both the business side and on the instructor side. So those 2 companies can charge whatever the hell they want to charge because they know we don't have another, right? We can't go somewhere else to get it because the ranges require you to have insurance as an instructor. Then you have to add them as an additional insured. Well, if their insurance doesn't cover what we teach, we have to get a separate insurance. So it's the insurance is bananas. And even as we speak right now, we're in the middle of a renewal, and the renewals I believe it was like 8% higher than it was previously last year. In addition to our rent on our store went up almost 16% from last year.
Have you considered the South? Just asking. Have you guys considered going to the South?
We have. Problem is, we're going to leave California where they don't have nobody. We're it.
That's true. That's true.
We're it. We're it pretty much within California, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, that little horseshoe around California. We're it. We're it.
Man.
Yeah. Don't be trying to solicit our guys to come over there with y'all. Y'all have enough. Leave us alone.
No. People have begged us not to leave. I can imagine. It's definitely needed. So I know the people out there definitely appreciate you guys' presence, being there. All the stuff that you have to go through just to maintain, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure people definitely appreciate it. I know Nyctee always bigging y'all up. She always talks about, the training and the classes and all of the stuff.
I ain't been in a minute. I'm surprised Jonathan didn't wring my neck as soon as he came on here. I ain't been in a minute.
I know you got some things going on, so I ain't gonna get on you.
I ain't forgot though. I know what to do. I haven't forgot now. Run up if you want to. No, this one. So I'm eager to learn more about your perspective. Could you share what advocating for women's rights and 2A rights mean to you personally, and how have you seen these 2 important causes interact in your advocacy work?
Sure, absolutely. So from my perspective, seeing what Geneva does, quite frankly, just her having conversations with certain folks that we interact with gets them to understand that they don't have to be a victim, right? They don't have to be someone that takes shit from nobody that they don't need to take shit from, right? So Geneva does a lot of our back end stuff right now. She doesn't come into the store as often as she used to. So now, with that being said, she's able to reach out and give more social media presence to those women who need the push to even come into the store to even start the process of getting licensed to purchase a weapon. And quite honestly, some women still don't come into the store to purchase a weapon, right? I hate to say it, but for some of our folks, it's almost like we have to pick them up and drag them into the store to understand that you, say for instance, you're a single mom, you live at home with your son, your daughter, whatever, you're a target. You are easily able to become a victim because guess what? Not because you don't have a man in the house, but because you have to be responsible for you and that little person, right? Guess what? That takes your attention away from protecting yourself because you have to worry about someone else as well. And if you don't have something that can help great equalize, which is like a firearm or something along those lines, you are going to be out of luck. What if you got 4 or 5 people that come into your house at one time? right? What are you supposed to do? Say, oh, please don't. I'm going to call the police. Please don't. No, you don't have time for that. Again, as I spoke earlier, having worked in law enforcement, I'm going to tell you right now, most response times for those who live in the city of LA is 10 to 14 minutes. And that's if they come at all.
Right.
Okay. When I was being trained, when we were in the police academy, we only had to fight for 60 seconds. Because as soon as we put it out over the radio, everybody's coming to save you, right? That's not the same thing for our folks, men or women, when they're at home. You don't have that option. You have to be your own first responder. We need our women out here to understand that you got to be able to protect yourself. Not just at home, but in the streets, going to the store, going to work, going to school, wherever you may be, you need to be able to protect yourself. And with what Geneva does, and how she does it, I should say, more so, is by speaking to you and getting you to get that realization that, yo, sweetheart, you can be a target too. You may not think you're a target, but you're a target from something.
That lady.
That
lady said, call the hotline. Remember, call the hotline.
We get to that. We didn't get to that
right
portion yet.
I had to hold my. Lord have mercy. C-SPAN had so many cameras in there, and I had to hold my face because I looked at her and was like,
"Did you just say that?
Did you just say call the hotline?
Hotline? Yeah.
As you getting beat up, raped, assaulted, kidnapped? Call the hotline?
Call the hotline."
Lord.
Well, listen. We're going to get to that in a second about you guys going to Washington, D.C. and all of that. The people don't know what y'all talking about with this hotline. We'll get to that in a second. I want you to expound on your wife's comment about men stop telling women what guns are best for them.
So what we see, and I'll tell you from my perspective, what I see on a daily basis. We have women that come in, young, old, everything in between, right? And they'll say, well, my brother said this, or my boyfriend said this, or my husband said that, or my dad said this. And I will look at them, Jared, which one of our staff members will look at them and be like, stop going off of what they said. We need you to be able to focus on what you need to do for yourself. The gun that works for your brother, or your cousin, your son, whoever, may not work for you. If you don't have dexterity in your hand, something that they use may not work for you, right? If you are for instance, there's a young lady that comes in. She is probably 5 foot nothing. Okay, she's got tiny hands. Well, a gun that works for her dad, and I'm using this as an example because dad was on the phone when she was in the store. Dad was like, yeah, get the Glock 19. And I'm like, your hand doesn't even go around the grip to get to the trigger. So that's not going to do you any well. And I actually got on the phone with her dad and was like, look, Dad, this gun's not going to work for her. It's too big for her hand. Well, she can shoot it. No, she can't. She may get the first round off, but guess what? If she doesn't have a proper grip, that gun's going to come right out of her hand. So that's one of the things that my wife was talking about when it comes to stop telling what gun is best for a woman, because you may not know. And I would say this, I'll digress a little bit. Y'all stop going to YouTube and looking at reviews for guns in other states. California has a roster. That gun that you see on YouTube may be great, perfect for you, but you may not be able to get that in California. You may not be able to, it may be the perfect size, the weight.
There's certain guns that you can't have in California? That you can't sell?
Absolutely.
Yes.
We can sell it, but you as a civilian can't have it.
Oh, snap.
So I'll use my wife's analogy. She used to say this a long time ago. Right now, we're on iPhone 15, right? California has a roster. It's basically saying you can only have an iPhone 5, right? The rest of the free world's on iPhone 15, but California says you can only have an iPhone 5 because we think that iPhone 5 is safe for you. So that's kind of where I get some of my gripe from, is because YouTube is a great place for certain things. YouTube is not a great place for you to try to figure out what weapon you want for you for self-protection, especially if you have smaller hands, especially if you have arthritis, especially if you have some other tendinitis or some other issue where you can't manipulate that firearm. So that's why we push you to come into the store and put these guns in your hand and manipulate the slide. Mess with the trigger. Mess with the slide lock. Mess with the distance on the trigger to see if that's going to work for you. I don't need you buying a gun from me, going home, and God forbid you get into a self-defense situation, you survive it, and you come back and cuss me out 5 ways from Sunday because the gun that you got from us didn't work for you. Right? We don't want that. We want to consult, educate, and train before you get into a shit hits the fan situation.
Right. And this is also why training is important as well. You know,
Absolutely.
because you're only going to know what works for you when you train. When I first started training with them, I did not have a firearm at all. I started training with them with the Beretta. I didn't like it. After the Beretta, I think it was the SIG. And then after that, it was the Glock. You know what I'm saying? So I went through different stages of touching firearms. And when I found one that, you know, best worked for me, that's when I decided to purchase.
And that was based off of their consultation?
That's based off of their consultation and also being trained properly on safety, everything. You know what I'm saying? Because everything doesn't feel right, you know, in your hands. Sometimes some things give a lot of more recoil than others and things like that. You know, so especially being a woman who has smaller hands, all those things do matter. You know what I'm saying? We're properly being able to handle the firearm, being able to properly handle the recoil, being able to properly hold it. Because y'all not going to have you sitting out there for an hour, you know, your arm shaking. You know what I'm saying? But some firearms are a lot heavier, you know what I'm saying, than others. Because again, if you get in a situation at home and some assailant is in your house and you're holding them there until the police get there, you know, 10 to 14 minutes later, it's not longer. You know what I'm saying? How long are you going to be able to hold that firearm steady? You know what I'm saying? And keep that individual there, you know what I'm saying, without your arms tiring out before that person can see that you're tired and you know, take it from you. You know, these are all the things that you are, you know, being trained there, you know, for. So all that stuff matters.
And so, Jonathan, let's say somebody's watching this broadcast from another part of California, say the Bay or Northern California, somewhere else, and they want to, you know, follow your footsteps. They want to open up a gun shop, you know, training facility or whatever like that. What, you know, major pieces of advice would you give them to really get started and avoid some of the obstacles?
All right, so that's a loaded question. I'm gonna tell you flat out, don't do it in California. Don't do it in California. And the reason I say that is not to disparage anybody or discourage anybody. The legislation that is coming in, like within the next couple of weeks, it's going to be almost impossible for you to afford what you need to be able to set up. Hell, we've been established and we are trying to figure out how we are going to be able to stay in business with the buffoonery that's coming in when it comes to the legislation. And I'll give you an example of that. Starting January 1st, Governor Newsom says we have to audio and video record every firearms transaction and keep it on file for a year. Well, do you understand the magnitude of what type of hard drives and disks that we have to keep and maintain? How much that's going to cost? I'll tell you how much it's going to cost because we got quotes on it. It's almost $12,000 for that system. That's an unexpected expense that was sprung on us maybe a month and a half ago that we're like, wait, we got to have this in by when?
Wow.
Right? In addition to, like I said earlier, the federal licenses was not a big deal. The federal licenses, believe it or not, are fairly affordable. But your state, your municipal, and your local licenses all cost quite a bit of money. Quite a bit of money. And again, my wife is saying something in the comments here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she said people are always talking like they're gonna open up a gun shop. She ain't seen no action.
Right.
So I would tell you flat out, we probably have consulted 9 or more people over the last year to 2 years. One opened up, he was open for 9 months, he closed.
Yep.
They can't, you got to understand, it's not that we're an anomaly. It just so happens when we got in this game, coupled with what I used to do for work and coupled with what we used to do for our community, it's what got us to where we are now. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying California is probably not the best place to do it in. I want to see more of us. We're only one of 12 in the U.S. that's open, that is Black owned. Okay?
Wow.
That's not a lot at all.
Oh.
But we got to make sure we do it in places that are not going to give us so many restrictions that we have no chance at survival. There's a few states like that. California is one. Chicago is one. New York is definitely one. And from what I saw at the Senate hearing, there's a couple other states that normally wouldn't be like that are starting to sound like they're leaning towards trying to get rid of guns altogether. Now, in addition to that, you got to understand, it's not just a state level. It's a local level. I know where this young lady lives, that area where she's at. You can't open a gun store where she lives. That whole city is banned. It's been a 20-year moratorium on gun stores. Burbank, part of the reason why we weren't able to open up the facility we were trying to open up is because they put a permanent moratorium in where we can't open up a new gun store. Now, mind you, all of us with logic are saying, well, you're a pre-existing gun store. You're already in business.
Right.
If you move from location A to location B, you're now considered a new gun store. So it's things like that that's causing us, not just us, but us as a community, not to be able to expand our reach to other people and get more stores open, is because state and local are causing lots of issues for that business to be able to be open. So again, California is probably not the right place to open up.
Can I ask then, why are places like a Turner's, able to sustain over a Redstone?
That's a great question, and I have it's a twofold answer to that. One, Turner's, their primary purpose is sporting goods.
Okay.
They sell firearms with sporting goods attached, right? So, for instance, you go in there for fishing gear, but you can also pick up a rifle or a shotgun, right? When it comes to Turner's is backed by big bucks, right? They got big dollars. So that's why you see them expanding. And they're actually, I think they just now expanded into other states. For the longest time, Turner's was just a California-based company. They are now, I believe, in Nevada and Arizona.
Oh, wow.
So they're backed by big bucks.
So, okay, because I know down here they got places like Sports Academy. I think like the Pro Bass Shop, like places like that, which are the big franchise name places.
Right, and guess what? They are primarily sporting goods. Like Bass Pro Shop, they got their start selling bass boats. So that's where their money came from. They sold boats by tracker, and I know this because my grandfather was a big fisher, and he bought his boat from Bass Pro Shops. He had to drive to Colorado to get it. That's how they got their start in the sporting goods world. So they're classified differently from a Redstone, because Redstone, we are a firearms dealer or a training facility, not a sporting goods store.
Gotcha. But wait a minute, Geneva. Don't tell me Black people are coming in there trying to talk you guys down on the prices and all that.
Oh, of course.
Every day.
Every day. What you talking about? Come on now, Black man. Come on now, Black man. Go on, show a Black man some love. You know how they do.
Oh, man, really? Y'all got to cut that shit out.
Man.
Y'all got to cut that shit out across the board. As a matter of fact, any nigga come in the shop with that bullshit, you cancel. Nigga, turn in your black card. The hell is that? The hell is that?
Said turn in your black card.
All right, well, listen, you was talking about, the legislation that's coming and all of that. So let's talk about you guys recently going to Washington, D.C. You guys were in front of Congress?
Capitol Hill.
We're on Capitol Hill. Geneva was speaking to, it ranged in between like 10 to 13 different Congress people, because they were coming in and out. So there was about 10 to 13 in there at any given time. But what I would like to do before we get to that, let me tell you guys some stuff about California that led up to us getting to where we were. One of the things that we have done at Redstone is we've spoken up in the media every time that we could when it came to our community and how we got to where we are and what we're doing for the community, right? For those here in California, and I hope there's quite a few of you guys in California that's on the podcast, you got to understand your lack of voting or flat out no voting has caused California to become what it's getting ready to become, which is going to be a one gun per 30 days. There's no more exemptions for interfamily transfers. So like for Shamika, for your son, you wouldn't be able to do an interfamily transfer anymore in California. You would have to do it. You would have to do it as a private party transfer. So that exemption is gone away, right? In addition to that, this 11% tax that's getting ready to get kicked in. So every time you buy a gun or ammunition, it's an additional 11% tax on that, on top of your on top of your local tax and your state tax. Right? So that's part of the stuff that led us to where we are, to where Geneva was speaking on 2A rights for women. Because one of the things that she spoke on while we were there was, what if you are a victim of domestic violence and you have to get out of your house, or you have to just basically disappear, right? And you don't have a whole lot of money. You go to buy a firearm for protection, but you can't afford it because now, guess what? You got to pay, we'll use simple numbers. You got to pay $600 for a Glock, plus the sales tax, plus, your state tax. Now you got to pay an 11% increase on that tax for that firearm. So you just ran out of the house with yourself or with your kids or whatever else, and you got very limited funds, but you need some way of being able to have self-protection, but now you can't afford it because of all these taxes.
Right. And the victimizer is aware of that too, more than likely.
Exactly.
He or she, already knows this information.
Exactly.
And then also he or she knows that you're already scared of firearms. You're not open to it. You didn't want him to have one when y'all were together and happy. And now, you're not going to go get one now because, one, I don't know how to use one. I've always been against firearms because everything that social media and the news, and all this stuff is saying, right? So you basically shoot yourself in the foot, by not having any type of means of protection outside of that hotline.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that it frustrates the hell out of me. And I know it frustrates Geneva as well, because when they do come into the store, they're like, well, I just wanted something to wound them. No, the hell you don't.
No, you don't. No, not me.
No, you don't. You want something that's going to stop the threat. If you're getting beat, if you're getting, attempted kidnapped or whatever else, you're not going to sit there and shoot somebody in the kneecap and say, you shouldn't have done that. You're going to stop the threat. You shoot somebody with a BB gun or even a less lethal gun, all you're going to do is piss them off. And the vengeance is real. Yeah, they may have stopped in that moment. You may have not been a victim in that moment, but they're going to come back. Because those restraining orders ain't nothing but a piece of paper. What is this piece of paper going to tell me?
Right.
Oh, don't do something that I've already done? Come on, man. Miss me with that one.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. I'm not trying to just shoot you in the kneecaps.
And so I'm gonna try to share this clip from when your wife was in front of Congress, if I can.
Okay.
Let me see here. Can you guys see that?
Yeah. It's small though. Are you able to? It's also on her page. I think it's on the Redstone Instagram.
Yeah, I was looking. She has a short clip, but this one, I want to play this one if I can.
Okay.
I don't think I can. I got to go here. Okay, yes. So let's do it like this. Hold on 1 second. I should be able to blow it up. You guys can see it, right?
Yeah.
You guys are able to see it?
Yeah.
All right, let me unmute it and let me make it bigger. Still muted? Hold on.
I thought this guy was kind of
Wait, I don't know why we can't hear it.
The moment he walked
Okay.
in, we
Here we go. Here we go.
locked
Here we
eyes.
go. Say it again. Repeat that,
Jonathan's on
sir.
mute.
Oh, I was saying the moment he walked in, we locked eyes and we already knew what time it was. The moment he walked in.
The moment he walked in. Okay. All right. I'm gonna play this real quick and then break everything down for us.
Years. Left is focused on defunding the police, passing pro-criminal policies, opening the border, and taking away their constitutional rights to bear arms. So, you're absolutely wonderful. You're probably aware there's been an 87% increase in gun ownership amongst Black women.
Are you guys seeing this?
No.
Is it on the screen?
No, it's not
We're
on the
hearing
screen and
it.
it's muffled. We're hearing it though.
All right. I don't think this is gonna work.
Yeah, the
All right,
sound wasn't too great to me.
So I can give you a little bit of
Okay.
context to what he was saying. He was talking about in his state, and if I remember correctly, he's from Texas. 87% of the folks that are victims in that state don't have any type of protection, basically, right? So when he asked my wife the question in pertaining to what, oh, there you go. I think you just had it up.
Yeah. Go ahead, finish talking. I'll play that in a second.
So what she thought, or what the percentage of people that she thought was able to not become victims if they had access to firearms was 87% of the people that were victims. If they had access to firearms, they wouldn't have been victims. They would have been able to fight back in a way that could basically equalize whatever situation they were in.
All right, let me play that. This is a short clip of from the hearing while our sister going in.
People, do you know how long 90 seconds is? And 90 seconds is being generous when we talk about law enforcement responding. And we hear that domestic violence is the most dangerous call. So in those 90 seconds, if you don't have a firearm and you do not want to fight one or two attackers as a woman, that is a very long time. And so empowering yourself to be able to live and empowering your child is a God-given right. I always tell people.
Now, was the sound clear?
Yes.
Okay.
You have
All right, cool.
a God-given right to protect and defend your life and the life of your offspring, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
And I also remember in the clip, I don't know if it was your wife or it was the gentleman that was speaking, I mentioned that women, or was it Black women in particular, have been the fastest growing group of gun buyers in the country?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. Fortunately for us, we've been on the front lines to see that. We have seen, I want to say, probably a 90% increase in women,
Since
young
when?
women, since 2019. So
Pandemic, okay.
not just women, but young women, 22, 23, 24, all the way up to, I think our oldest client was 90. Coming in to get her a little 38 to put in her purse, because they are not going to sit here and become victims any longer when there's no reason. And I will digress a hair. My wife did not grow up with firearms in the home. I grew up with firearms in the home. So I've been around firearms since I was 5 years old. It's second nature to me. It wasn't second nature to her. So there's a lot of women that's not second nature to them to know that they have the ability to go out and buy a legal firearm, right? Especially in our community. Our community, sometimes we think we got to go through the back door at the Slauson swap meet to get a firearm. No, you can come in and get one legally. Right. You can come in and get one to protect yourself at home. And if you take it a step further, ladies, you can come and take the CCW class where you can carry your weapon on you. in certain places, of course, but on you for protection. So you're not a victim out at the gas station, the grocery store, the movie theater, wherever you may be, right? So our community, if you look at how the church used to talk about guns and that's evil and that's wrong. Well, guess what? The churches now are arming up their security guys faster than you can talk.
You better have security at church. You better.
Right. And I will tell you right now, and it just so happened on Monday, this past Monday, we had a lady. She goes to a church in Arcadia. She's part of their church security team. She came in and got herself a new holster for her concealed carry license that we helped her get about 6 months ago. Right? So
what city she in?
Arcadia.
Because let me tell you, I applied. It's been like a year and a half, Jonathan. I ain't heard back yet.
That's not too far off. So you're probably about 3 or 4 months.
Hold that thought. I just want to let everybody that's tuning in from Instagram know that it's probably the live is going to end on Instagram. We're coming up on an hour in a couple of minutes. So if you guys are tuning in from Instagram, head on over to YouTube. Just type in GodCast Enterprises on YouTube, and you can finish watching the live over there. Appreciate y'all tuning in on Instagram. It's our first time broadcasting live on Instagram, so shout out to y'all. And I don't think we can see the comments. I don't know if you guys have been commenting or whatever, but I don't think it shows us the comments on this side from Instagram yet. But if you watch it from Instagram, the broadcast is going to end in about 2 minutes. So you want to head on over to YouTube to check out the rest of the broadcast. Appreciate y'all. Go ahead, continue, Jonathan.
Yeah, so that's one of those things where the sheriff is actually being sued right now because they're taking so long to issue these permits. So you're not too far off. You're probably another 3 or 4 months before. I'll make sure that I give the phone number to Geneva so she can send it to you, so that way you can call on Monday and check yours.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, ladies, there's no excuse at all for you not to get some type of protection. There's absolutely no excuse for you not to go out and get your concealed weapons license. There's no reason anymore. And if there's a budgetary issue in place, you need to come talk to us. My wife will put you on an invoice where you can pay $100 here, $200 there, $50 here until you pay your gun off, and then we background it, and then it becomes yours. There's no reason for you not to be able to have something. There's no reason.
So I was going to ask that, do you guys do online sales? Is that even legal to somebody purchase the gun online? And if so, do you have those type of options where people could use, Klarna, Afterpay, and stuff like that?
Yeah, so there's a company called Cordova that we offer on our website. Now, if you don't necessarily qualify for that, again, reach out to us. My wife has no problem putting you on a payment plan. We had a brother that was in New York. It took him a year and a half to pay his gun off, but he was faithful. Yeah, he was faithfully paying $50 every couple of weeks, right? So there's no reason why you guys can't go to our website, find something that you like, right? Even if you're out of state, we can ship it to a dealer near you, and you go to that dealer, do your background, you pick your weapon up. For the folks here in California or the surrounding states, same thing. You can purchase it on our website, come in, get your background started, get the classes that you need, and get you going. And again, if it's a budgetary thing, let us know. Talk to us. Don't be ashamed. Oh, I only got $200. Okay, you may have $200 now, but let's put you in something that's $400, $500, $600 and give you some time to pay it off. So there's no reason to cheap out on your protection. You need to have something to protect yourself.
And that's redstonefirearms.com. You guys go to redstonefirearms.com. This is the website that you see on your screen. And so they have a lot of information on here about how to purchase, about transfers, USCCA guide, Redstone. They got their own blog, everything like that. Store information is there as well. Anything else they need to know about the website?
Absolutely. Excuse me. Absolutely need to know a lot more. When it comes to it, please, y'all, we talked about the roster. If you go to the weapons section, my wife took a lot of time to put California approved under the guns that are approved for you guys that are in California. If it doesn't say California approved, you here in California cannot have it unless you have exemptions. And if you have questions on those exemptions, call us and ask.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, all the information is here, family. All the information is here. They've been doing this for a decade now, so any questions that you have, I'm pretty sure they done came across it already.
For the most part, yep.
And also, don't go on here hopping on just to buy a firearm. Make sure you train.
Yes,
Make
please.
sure you train. Cannot say it enough. Train, because even when I first started, you think that it's really just, pointing and firing. And it's way more intricate than that. You know what I'm saying? I was putting my whole finger, in there. You know what I'm saying? So it's little things like that, like, you know what I'm saying? And training is fun with Jonathan. It's hard work. He takes it very, very serious. He don't play out there, which is the good part, but at the same time, it's also fun, a fun experience. You get to meet a lot of great, men and women, what I'm saying, that you may stay connected to. I have, what I'm saying? So definitely make sure that you train. If you're here in California, visiting California, I definitely implore you to go out there and train with my brother and sister, Jonathan and Geneva Solomon at Redstone Firearms.
And what are some of the most popular guns people want to get that they can't have in California?
Oh God.
Everything.
Everything on the music videos.
Exactly.
Dracos.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, yes. So Dracos are literally, I'm gonna get some flack for this. Dracos are a waste of weapon. Okay.
Listen, O told us the same thing. We had Body by O on here. He said the same. He said Dracos is trash.
They don't shoot straight. You're not gonna hit nothing. They look good, but you're not gonna hit nothing. Give me my handgun and my rifle, and I'll go to work on anything that you got, and I will put you to shame. Dracos they're beautiful weapons, but they're a waste. They don't even put it on your wall. Go play it or something. Don't think you're gonna use it for protection. But when it comes to stuff in California, like for instance, I'm a big Glock and Wilson Combat guy. Glock has Generation 5 right now, about to be Generation 6. California can only have Gen 3s. The difference between the Gen 5s and Gen 3s are the barrel. The barrels are changed. The triggers are changed. They're a little bit lighter. They're definitely more accurate when it comes to how they shoot. These are the guns that people want, but they can't have in California. We're so tired of seeing the old antiquated gun that people are starting to find other ways of getting these weapons. And we need to make sure we do these things legally, not just because we want them, but we need to do it the right way so you don't get yourself in trouble. In addition to that, like the Springfield Hellcats, the P365 macros, things like those, they're great concealed weapons. And because California now issues CCWs in each county, each city, people are asking for those guns, but they're not on the rosters yet. And they may never be on the roster. We have a variant of the Hellcat, but we don't have the micro Hellcat that everybody else in the free world can have. So those are just some of the weapons that we have that other people can't.
So do we need a new governor?
We need a whole new state
system.
Yes.
Man.
We just need to reset the whole thing.
It's just old. It's just old and tired at this point. And especially with all the snatch and grabs going on here in California. A woman was just robbed at a Costco. She was drugged. Lady, give up your purse though. If you ain't got nothing to back it up, let that shit go. You know what I'm saying? But, she was just drugged, from a Costco parking lot, and things like that. And yet California is telling us, you don't need a firearm though. Call that hotline.
Call the hotline. Call 911. I will say though, we have a client. I won't name her name. She came to one of my classes, our CCW class. She's bought a couple of firearms from us. I want to say maybe 2 months after she took our CCW class, she got into a self-defense shooting. Okay. Luckily, she survived. Okay. These guys were trying to attack her, followed her home in the whole nine. California is so crooked when it comes to the way that they do self-defense cases. This woman went through a year and a half of self-defense. A year and a half of the court case for her self-defense case, that at the end, the prosecutor didn't read the jury instructions correctly, left out a key sentence. They declared a mistrial. Now she's got to go through a whole new trial again.
Oh no! And why is she going on a trial anyway? Considering someone followed her to her home.
Exactly, because they tried to say that she was carrying a concealed weapon without a permit. There's some backstory to that I won't get into, but the bottom line is she used her weapon legally because she was in fear of death and great bodily harm, which she should have been found not guilty. Hell, she shouldn't even gone to trial. She shouldn't have been tried.
She should have been charged.
Thank you, charged. But because of how the system is set up, we don't stand a chance. The thing that helped her is I kind of pushed USCCA onto the folks in the class, because USCCA, exactly, USCCA will protect you in any self-defense situation as long as you review something that was obtained legally, like your firearm, your baseball bat, your frying pan, your car, whatever it is. As long as you can legally have it, they will help defend you in court for a self-defense situation. Thank God that USCCA not only covered all of her expenses for the first trial, they're covering all of her expenses for the second trial as well. So these are things that people got to understand. Yes, you need to protect yourself. You need to have weapons to protect yourself, especially ladies. If you have kids in the home, you need to be able to protect yourself, but you also need to be able to protect yourself after you protect yourself.
Yep. I learned that in class, y'all. Best, what I think, $30 a month.
Yep.
You know what I'm
$30
saying?
a
Like,
month. Yep.
People spend $30 a day on Starbucks going a few times. You know what I'm saying? So why not, invest in something that's going to protect you in the event something may happen? And we never know. You hope it doesn't, but when it does, you know that you have a legal defense.
And they will defend you to the end. And I would say right now, for those who have the other services that are similar to USCCA, please, 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 please go in and read your policies. Okay, because your policies have exclusionaries. USCCA does not have exclusionary policies within your coverage. And if you go to our website, look at the USCCA, and if you put in Redstone, you will get our discount on it. We try to make sure that everybody is protected, not only with their firearm, but with their insurance as well.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. And so you mentioned earlier about some of the legislation that is coming, and you said the main reason is for people not voting locally, right?
That's part of it, yes.
That's part of the reason. And so, are there any politicians locally that are pushing for, some legislation for gun rights and gun owners and stuff like that? Are there any politicians out there that people should be supporting?
There aren't any that I'm aware of that I've been able to speak to personally to get an understanding of where they are with things. Sorry, guys, I had to move that a little bit. My phone's getting ready to start dying on me. I will say this, though. When Sheriff Villanueva was in office here in California, in Los Angeles, I should say, I hate to use this analogy, but the better of two evils, right?
You know where you're going.
I didn't necessarily like everything that he was standing for, but I sure as hell like the fact that you are able to obtain your CCW and be able to protect you and your family outside of your home.
Yep.
Okay, that's one of the major things. There are some other things that I did not necessarily agree with that he was, for. But that was something that was big for me because my aunts, two of them, I have quite a few, but two of them were victims of violence. The only reason they are here today is because they had their guns that my grandfather gave them and made them carry. Right? And California has been so anti-CCW for the longest. Most women don't think they can get a CCW to protect themselves. They only think they have protection at home. That's wrong. You have protection inside and outside of your home.
It's no wonder to me though why they got rid of him, and I doubt it was because of what they claim it was about. I think it's the fact that he was empowering, responsible gun ownership. I think that's what it was more than anything. It definitely wasn't the anti-blackness, because
Right.
no one cares about that. You know what I'm saying? I think it was the fact that he was empowering responsible gun ownership. That's it for me.
Yep.
And I saw
I
that
believe so too.
before.
Yep. You saw that firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And so, any information, advice, whatever, for like formerly incarcerated people, with felonies on their record and stuff like that?
Excuse me. So in California, it's damn near impossible for folks who have done any time past 12 months and 1 day. So if you've done 1 year in 1 day, you're not eligible to possess, own, or otherwise have a firearm. Okay. Now, I do know from speaking to other people in other states, that's not necessarily the case, right? There's things that you have to do to get your rights restored. But in California, absolutely, you're pretty much dead in the water.
Wow.
Now, there are other things such as it's a non-lethal weapon called the burner. It's not a actual firearm by definition, and it's legal without having a background check. That's one of the things that some of our folks that can't have actual firearms can have to protect themselves.
And what's it called?
It's called the burner. B-R-Y-N-A.
A burner.
And you still have to be over 18 or 21 to get that.
So right now it's 18, but my understanding based on something that I read a couple months ago is they're trying to now make it 21 for you to be able to have that.
Got it.
Yeah, cool. And shout out to some chick named Star in the chat. When our moderator's in the chat, she's putting in, the necessary links for you guys to make sure that you support Redstone Firearms as well as the GodCast channel. Appreciate you, Star. Going back to DC. Based on your experience down there in DC, did you find more support from the Democrats that were down there or the Republicans?
Let me answer that. I'm just
I gotta ask.
I know. We already know the answer to this question, but go ahead, Jonathan.
I'm gonna say this. How can I be politically correct on this? When the Democrats walk out of the chambers, they have armed security. Okay?
Hypocrisy.
Right? When the Republicans walk out of the chambers, they have armed security. But they go to their cars and have their own weapons in them. Does that make sense to y'all?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So don't do what I do, just do what I say.
Right.
Basically.
So they believe in gun ownership as it pertains to their lives and the lives of their families and their, belongings and things like that. But you Negroes and everybody else call the hotline.
Yeah, you're on your own, call the hotline, and we'll get there when we get there. But I would say this, that is not all Democrats, okay? I don't want you guys to think that. There are some Democrats that have tons of guns. You just wouldn't know it, okay? You just wouldn't know it. Unfortunately, this is a Democrat versus a Republican type deal. It just shouldn't be that. It should be very much so. You have the right to self-defense and self-protection just like this person over here does. Okay,
it's in the Constitution.
Nonpartisan. That's a nonpartisan issue.
Yeah, The fact that we have allowed the system to get to where it is now is partially our fault, right? It's partially our fault that we allow for the system to be where it is. But it's also the fault of those who came before us because they were so quick to just do what they were told and not question, why are you telling me to do this? Okay? The first thing that you need to reference is go back to when the Black Panthers had shotguns here in California on the steps.
First thought that came to my mind.
The law changed the next day.
Right.
There's a reason. So we got to understand that. You know, and I'm not saying you got to be some gun-toting granny, but you need to be able to have the ability to protect yourself. Right. Man, woman, whatever. You need to be able to protect yourself. And if you don't want to carry a gun, don't carry a gun. But don't impede upon everybody else's ability to be able to have something to protect them and their families.
Right.
I think your wife, you know, she said it. She said a word when she said it's your God-given right.
Absolutely.
God-given right.
Absolutely. And the sooner our folks understand that, the sooner we can stop getting locked up for having illegal guns. The sooner we'll stop getting locked up for buffoonery with firearms, and you have the education. You have. Shamika will tell you, we got a whole lot of swole people that come into the store because they come in there saying clip when it ain't a clip. That is the basic.
The clip versus the magazine. Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. Let me tell you how many push-ups I've done. Let me tell you how many push-ups I've done for saying clip, y'all. I've got my ass. You can't, outside of a clip in the hair, I may call the clip in the hair magazine at this point because I got my ass whipped. Like, no, that's not what it is. Clips are for your hair.
There you go.
Yeah,
and that's where the basic knowledge comes in to help change the way things have gone on for so long.
Yeah. And where did that come from?
That's a great question. There's a couple of things that I can say on that. One, TV, movies, and rap videos, okay? And two, for those who have the understanding of what a clip actually is, back to World War I and II, right? And so on and so forth. Guns used to have little C-shaped devices that the ammunition would clip into, right? And you put it in the gun. Magazines are devices that hold the ammunition within and feeds it into the gun. Clips and magazines are two different things. They're not interchangeable.
Listen, I took my nephew with me one time to the ranch, and he accidentally said clip, and all of a sudden I turned around and he was over there doing push-ups. I was like, I told you, I gave you a pep talk on our ride up here.
Yep.
Well, any other ones? Any other misnomers and stuff like that?
Oh God, yes. Please don't hold your gun like this. That is wrong. That is absolutely possible. Oh gosh, no. Please don't do that. You're gonna have rounds going everywhere but where you're trying to have them go. We have to change. If we're gonna be taken seriously with this stuff, we gotta change what our culture has told us was right.
Right.
That's wrong. We need to do it better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And that starts with the education aspect of it. Excuse me. That starts with the education aspect of it. My wife teaches a lot of classes online. There's no reason for you not to sit at home and watch the Zoom and participate in the class and get the knowledge that you need. And then you come see us at the store, and then you get that further knowledge and education. And then it puts you on the right track where, guess what? You can then take that and teach someone else.
Yep.
All right, so before we get out of here, there's more aspects to you guys' business as well, too, besides just the training and the gun sales and all of that, too. Because I know we spoke to your wife before on another call, and she was talking about the patches and stuff that she makes and stuff like that. So talk about the other parts of the business, too, that people can support.
Excuse me. So we have I guess you could say that like the swag, right? All the different firearms related swag. If you go to Redstone Creative on Instagram, actually I take it back. You can go to Redstone Creative on Instagram, but you can go to her Etsy page. That'll give you a better understanding of what it is she has. So pro Second Amendment, pro woman, pro man, pro black, pro everything when it comes to positive education on our culture, right? We got jackets, earrings for the ladies, shirts, swag stuff for your range bag, right? You know, we have some ladies that do the jean jackets, right? You know, they get the pro women patches, you know, the Black Betty boot. Some of the newer patches that she's put out, it's the traditional.
What's the name of the Etsy? Let me see if I can pull it up.
It's Redstone Creative.
Redstone Creative.
Yeah, it's that iconic image of the woman with the arm up. I
Yeah,
forget
the muscle one.
Yeah, she has a version of that. Stuff, you know, patches and stuff. Excuse me. She's got the cufflinks for the gentleman on there. So we've got a lot of extra swag that, you know, we kind of be that one-stop shop for your needs that you want to have. Pro gun, pro black. That's where we're at.
Also for entrepreneurs out there who can't figure out how to scale your business, how to get started with your business, you know, just need
that's it right there.
some directive on that. Geneva is also a business coach. So you can also reach out to Geneva. You can email her at Geneva@redstonefirearms.com. That's Geneva@redstonefirearms.com. If you are in need of some business coaching, you trying to figure out how to scale your business, or you know what I'm saying, take your business to another level, make sure you reach out to Geneva. She definitely does the business coaching thing as well.
Yep.
Very dope.
As you guys see, that's some of the stuff, that's some of the newer designs that she has on there. Excuse me. So she's got quite a bit of stuff.
Oh, gift cards and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, she's gotten into a lot of the other stuff outside of just patches. So for a while, one of the big things that we had was the water bottles. Okay, the water bottles that we used to carry in the store. So you can get those all on her Etsy shop and things like that as well. But yeah, as you guys can see, that's some of the stuff there. A lot of the stuff you're seeing right now is some of her newer creations.
Nice. And so, guys, this is on Etsy, Redstone Creative Shop on Etsy. I think the links are in the chat as well.
It's also on a link in her bio. She actually has a Redstone Creative Shop Instagram page as well. So you guys can follow that page on Instagram at Redstone Creative Shop.
And do me a favor, you guys. When you go to Redstone Firearms or Redstone Creative, make sure you turn on all the notifications. We are heavily shadow banned.
Okay.
When I say heavily shadow banned, we've got people that have been following us for years will call and say, "Hey, when's the last time you guys posted something?" We'll say a couple of days ago. And they'll tell me when they last saw something, which has been 6, 7, 8 months prior.
Yeah.
So turn on, the notifications, everything that you can turn on, I guess, for Instagram, turn it on. So you get the information, you get the news articles that she puts up, you get all the new legislation, all of that stuff that she puts up.
And also, you guys, you have to actually engage with the content. That's how you kind of trigger the algorithm. Also, liking, commenting, sharing. It shows, the platform that you're interested in this, and it will actually show you more of this stuff. But you have to engage. A lot of times we'll see stuff and watch the whole video, like the whole video, and don't even hit the like button.
Right.
Just take one second, double tap real quick, leave some emojis in the comments or whatever. That sends a signal to the algorithm that you want to see more of this.
Right.
And that's across all platforms, by the way. Instagram, Facebook. That's how you kind of manipulate the algorithm. Anything that we didn't think to ask you that you need people to know?
So one of the things I need you guys to understand is that, excuse me, We aren't going to be able to be where we are without your guys' help. We have to be able to get the outreach to the community for our folks to stop getting locked up for buffoonery when it comes to firearms. There's no reason why you should walk around with a gun without your permit. You can get a permit. There's no reason why you should be walking around with an illegal gun. Bring your butt in and come get a legal gun, especially if you don't have a criminal history.
Right.
There's no reason, right? Ladies, stop being victims. Bring your behind in, get some training. Let's get you some type of weaponry. It doesn't have to be a shotgun or a rifle. Let's get you something so that you have something at home. And fellas, knock it off with the dumb shit when it comes to your firearms. You don't need to walk around with your firearm exposed. Everybody see that you got a gun. Nobody should know you got a damn gun until you have to pull it out and use it. And start teaching your kids now. Don't wait until they're 17, 18, 19 years old. Again, I started shooting at 5 years old. You may not be comfortable teaching a 5-year-old to shoot. Got it. But you need to slowly introduce the kids, because one of the things that Governor Newsom did in California is he's taken away of our ability to teach the child safety class. We can't teach it anymore because he won't allow for kids under 21 to come into the gun store. So we can't teach the class anymore.
Thank God mine got it. Mine got it at 13, y'all.
So you see what I'm saying? So we're making strides, you know, we're going, but we're also getting hit over the head on the back end, because every time we make a stride to go forward, something else comes in and now it's preventing us from doing what we were trying to do when it comes to education. Okay, education is what we're going to be able to do to get our folks from stop being locked up, stop being shot and killed. Interaction with law enforcement when carrying a gun is a totally different ball game from interacting with law enforcement when you're not carrying a gun.
Right.
Okay. If you got questions on that, call the shop. We'll talk to you. We'll tell you. There's no reason for any of these things that have been happening to continue to happen, because you have an avenue for education.
Right.
Yes, indeed. And so, again, man, we appreciate your time, man, pulling up to the Godcast, sharing all this valuable information with us. Salute to you and your wife.
Thank you.
I know you guys are going to continue to stand 10 toes down and hold it down for the community. And so as we get ready to wind things down, I'm pass it over to Nyctee Gurl. And, you know, we do this in Godcast fashion.
So, Jonathan, we got 2 more questions. I forgot about this.
Sure.
I almost forgot. What does freedom and power mean to you?
Freedom and power means the ability to understand where you are at in your life and be able to understand the power that you yield so you can protect you and your own and educate those who are around you.
Boom. Boom. It's just like that. Last part, fam. I got to put you on the Summer Jam screen. The microphone is yours. The entire Black community is listening. What parting words would you like to leave us with tonight?
There's no reason for any of our community, regardless if you have a criminal history or not to understand what you can do for those who are around you, your family, your friends, your colleagues, etc. When it comes down to making sure that you're protected, you need to be your own first responder. You need to be the only person that gives a damn about your safety and security, because nobody's coming to save you. You need to be able to be educated. You need to be able to get trained, and you need to be able to understand the fact that you have to be your own first responder, period.
Period, point blank.
Yes,
and it's
indeed.
so funny that Johnny says that, because I had a guy DM me yesterday, actually, and he was like, "Hey, I just want to ask you, what made you get into guns?" And my response was, "Nobody's going to save me but me." That was yesterday. I got a DM that said, "Hey, what made you get into firearms? Nobody's going to save me but me." The end. There's nothing else to say.
Yep.
The end.
The end.
The end. And so I want to thank everybody for tuning in today with us on this special edition of the Black Business Showcase. As you guys know, if you don't know, normally we're here every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time, where we do our current event show, talk about other issues that we feel are important to what's going on in Black society. And on Wednesdays, we usually have the Black Business Showcase, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. So you guys want to definitely make sure that you stay subscribed to us on both channels, Sincere Love the God channel, as well as GodCast Enterprises channel, and click the notification bell so you can be alerted whenever we drop content on either page. Make sure you're following me. I'm at Sincere Love the God on all social media platforms. Follow Nyctee Gurl at Nyctee Gurl with the number 1 on Instagram, without the number 1 on Twitter, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Without the number 1 on Twitter, and let everybody know where they can find you and how they can support you as well, Jonathan.
Absolutely. So because we are shadow banned, we are on Redstone Firearms on Instagram, Redstone Jonathan on Instagram. So if you can't get the main page, you get the backup page, and then Redstone Creative on Instagram as well. And that's the same across the board for all platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, etc. So again, we appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for having us on.
Absolutely.
Love to Geneva, of course. And if you guys have questions or concerns or anything that you have when it comes to firearms, let us know. We'll do the best we can to help you out.
Thank you,
Yes,
Jonathan.
indeed. And once again, that's www.redstonefirearms.com, www.redstonefirearms.com. And that does it for today's episode of the Black Business Showcase. Let me get my what's the name together over here. As always, I want you guys to remember, we are not the master teachers, but we are the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new Black media. And with that being said, we are out of here, family. Peace and Black love.
Yeah, like that. Let's see what's in the God's mind. Listen.